Come on through, Cookie. I want to put my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Have and have nots. Season 5, episode 15. Let me say right here, I'm not crazy about the pace that we're actually moving at. But whatever. Let's go to the stairwell. We were in the stairwell with Veronica and Justin. And she basically says to him, so you're married. And that began the conversation. And it began a nice little quaint argument, if you will. They were really like at each other, and it was kind of funny to see because he's just as evil as she is, and she's not scared of him. That's the only thing, because generally with Justin, people are afraid, when he does all this, needs the police and all that. But Veronica gave 2 fucks about him and that bullshit, him and that badge. You can stick it straight up his ass. She said, who do you think you are, girl? Where you been? He said, well, who do you think you are? Where you been, girl? I'm Veronica Harrington. I said, oh, okay, honey. And then when he put the goddamn taser up to her neck and asked her, does that scare you? And she said, no. And pushed him, said, back up. I said, oh. Hattie, the 2 of them went on and on. She threatened to tell his wife. He threatened her, told her, my wife is a judge on your case. Thought he had her. She said, yeah, well, good, I'll have her thrown off tomorrow. This, that, thing, and the other. They went back and forth. Does she know about your proclivity to these unnatural things and feelings that you have for my son? And she went on and on. Then she told him she was going to basically blackmail him by reporting him for sexual harassment. Veronica, girl, you are something else, honey. Something else, honey. And then she gave him very much of, yeah, I heard you, honey, when you told my son that you love what it is he does to you and nobody's ever done it to you. And I don't know what unnatural thing that is. I was trying to hold my lunch down. But I have an imagination now. I can pretty much figure it out. Girl, you better bet you can figure it out. I mean, don't worry about that. I said, oh, mess. Sheer mess. So all that went down. They went on with that for 900 hours. Tyler's getting into a bad habit of stretching scenes out. I mean, he really stretches them out. So we had that go on. David and Jeffrey. David and Jim actually running the Jeffrey family in the hospital. Jim goes back and forth with Jeffrey. Jeffrey tells him, oh, yeah, I know where Wyatt is. Wyatt is here. You really don't need to see him. They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He finally gives him the room. Jim apologizes about hollering and all of that. Tells him, I know you love Wyatt, but I love Wyatt as well. He's my son. I need to see him. David convinces Jeffrey, you've done the right thing. Jeffrey knows better. Jeffrey tells David after Jim leaves everything that happened and how he stabbed Quincy to death and all of that. Told him how Veronica came into the picture. Told him about Benny. Told him about Candace. All of that. David tells him, I'm going to get you out of this. I'm going to get you out of all of this. So I'm going back to your apartment. He said, remember, she threw me out. She had me moved out. He said, okay, go get a room, and I'll contact you. Well, no problem. Let's talk about Hannah and Catherine. More of the same. More of the same. She'll know what she's going to do. She has no money. She can't even afford the casket. All of this business. Catherine says, let me take care of it for you. All that you've done for my family, more of the same. Boom. They take care of that. I says, okay. We move on. She tries to get in touch with Benny. She ends up getting Mitch. Mitch tells her Benny can't come to the phone right now. But I'll tell him. I'll give him the message. Catherine's going to cook. Hannah swears she's not going to eat it. Same old, same old. Nothing interesting. The writing was kind of boring. It was just, I don't know, it was useless. The best thing of the night was this: Candace and Mr. President, Charles. The kids are, you can hear his kids over there playing. So she opens her door and they end up opening the door and she ends up meeting the kids. And then he sends the kids on off to school. Then she brings them over to her place and she seduces him. Or so she thinks. She seduces him, gets him up in the bed. He's laying in the bed. Um, she made him undress and all of this. She did all of that. They went on and on forever with it. Um, she kept saying, you're so comfortable. You act like you don't care. It's this, that, thing, and the other, on and on and on. She's playing her game. She's doing Candace. And then they're laying there in the bed, and he switches up on her. And he's like, I'm not worried about you, and I'm not the kind of guy that waits for the other shoe to drop. And he says, you don't know who I am. I'm Senator Charles, whatever the hell the rest of his name is. Gave her the whole motherfucking handle. And then he said, you don't know anything about me. Then he says, Frederick, I need you. She's like, Frederick? Who's Frederick? Baby, the Secret Service bust up in the room, baby, and get her thoroughly together. And gave her, you're being arrested for terroristic threats. Some shit about the Patriot Act and this, that, thing, and the other. He told her, look at me. And he said, look at me. And she looked, he said, I am not the motherfucker to play these games with. I said, oh, bitch, he got you, honey. Told her some shit about her laptop, what was on the laptop, that she was playing. They found out all the shit that was going down. Baby, all the Oscar shit. She's like, that's not my laptop. This, that, it. They were like, bitch, you're under arrest. I said, oh, damn, Candace. And then there's some other shit that done flipped because Benny's down, not at the police station, but they have him off at some place, holding him, trying to ask him questions. And they said something to him about a presidential figure, this, that, thing, and the other. So he's all jammed up as well. They got them jammed up on some shit that Candace is doing that don't even have nothing to do with what they actually are guilty of. So that was interesting. But everything else in this episode was a mess. Like, everything else was just kind of pointless and senseless. And I'm like, I don't know where this is going. But then, now let me just drop this little piece of tea that I done heard in my travels. I heard that Tyler Perry is actually leaving OWN. So I'm thinking, is this the last season for Have and Have Nots? Or they get ready to just end this abruptly to just be fucked up? Because if that's what's going to happen, I'm going to be real pissed with Tyler. Real pissed. Because just because you know you're leaving, you ain't got to fuck us around. So I don't know, but this episode was just literally crap. It was shit. It really was. The last 3 minutes were good. The rest of the episode was a waste of fucking time. But anyway, yeah, I heard he took a deal with Viacom, so he's going to BET. Now, he could take the program on, well, I don't know if he could take it over to BET. Because some of the stuff they do on this show, I don't even know if they could even do it on BET. Whatever. I'll keep my ear to the ground. I'll let y'all know when I find out. But the season has been quite tired and shady. Anyway, leave it in the comments. We'll talk. I'll see y'all next week.